welcome back to Let's Talk Tech, brought to you by SineWave Technologies. Today I have Cale Hollingsworth, our CTO and founder of SineWave Technologies, tuning in from the Computer History Museum. Welcome, Cale.
Hey, how you doing today?
Thank you for joining. I'd love to hear a little bit about your experience in the technology field and how you got started in it all.
Well, it's funny. That's the reason I thought the Computer History Museum they would be a good scene for that, because if you walk through there, you'll see some of the old equipment that I started with as an ISP back in 1992. There's some modems in there, and actually I think there was a port master or a terminal server, which allowed those modems to connect and then transfer that into Ethernet. That would then go out to my internet connection. And you know, it's amazing how much things have changed, and yet in some ways have remained exactly the same. You still need a place that's cool to store your servers. It's that's safe and secure, and that has redundant power, and all those things are same now as they were 30 years ago.
What does SineWave do, and how did that kind of connect?
In a lot of ways, SineWave is both a managed service provider and on top of an internet service provider. It's kind of behind the scenes, because that is kind of where our roots were. So we still run and maintain a high level network with multiple connections into to different providers of internet transit, and then across multiple data centers as well. So we can provide that extra layer of infrastructure all the way up and through the operating system, which is what makes us different than a lot of other providers.
So you originally started in Kokomo. Now things have expanded to Indianapolis and Louisville. Do you have any intentions of expanding SineWave even further?
Well, it's funny you ask, because actually one of SineWave's earliest clients was based in Bangalore, India, and we actually helped to travel there and put together some data center projects and whatnot. And we have clients now that are based in California and the East Coast and all over the Midwest. So we've always been somewhat of a national company ever since we started.
Is SineWave today the same company you originally imagined when it began?
Absolutely not. I think that's one of the advantages of having a smaller, privately, closer held company, is you can be more agile. You can adapt to the changing industry and changing needs of the clients. Just for example, the last 2 years with the pandemic, the needs of our clients the priorities of the needs of our clients have changed. Even though they still need some of the same things, the order they want them in has certainly changed. And we are able to adapt to that and put together services that help our client and get them back to where they need to be, even in the hardest of times.
So where do you hope to see SineWave in the future?
I think there's always going to be a need for a small, talented team to come in and help either perform bigger tasks for a smaller company, bring some of those larger enterprise concepts and ideas about security, about redundancy, and bring those down to a level that's affordable to a smaller, medium enterprise without investing money in the top end of the top end equipment that is necessarily needed or wanted in that situation. And we've always been successful with that model, and I think there's always been a need for that.
So that kind of leads me into our next question. What do you think it takes to be a good MSP?
Consistency of documentation, consistency of employees and people that have their heads around that documentation, I think is one of the hardest things to do in our industry, not just for the people that we help service, but I think people that provide those services in our industry. We've been doing managed services now for almost 16 years, really before the term even was coined. And we have a rich history of not necessarily what we've done, but how we've done what we've done. Standards and procedures and operating procedures that have been well established and embedded through the years that we can duplicate. And as we bring new people onto the team, or as team members change laterally within our team, there's an information trail. There's always someone they can go to find out more.
That's very true. So to end off our interview, do you have any advice to someone who's looking into getting into technology now, as vast as it is?
Yes, always. Start at the basic level. Learn how to program. Learn how to make that first program, be it in Python, or be it in, Swift, or be it in anything. Make that first Hello World program. Get that first taste of how that works. Everything is upward from there. It's like a food pyramid, and you've got to start somewhere, and that is absolutely the best place everyone should start.
Is that kind of how you got started? Did you attend school? Was it self-taught?
I started buying, I was 13, I think, 1983. You would buy these magazines in like Barnes and Nobles that had code in them. And you would actually take these magazines home and program them into a computer. You had to copy it exactly how it was written. You couldn't miss a number. And then, but yeah, that's how I got started, is the code. Because once you learn how a computer works, you've got, it doesn't matter what operating system you use. You understand how it functions. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of a big believer in that.
And there's so many resources now, it's just finding a free course online, going to school. Well, thank you so much for meeting me with me today, Cale. It was a pleasure talking with you and getting to hear about some of SineWave's history.
Thank you so much for having me. And I wish it wasn't so cold, because normally you come here and the weather is better here, but for whatever this year, it's not. So I missed the boat on that one. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a great day and happy holidays.
Take care. Same to you.